What's going on? It's another episode of DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio. But guess what? We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Spotify, and we're coming to you live on X Live. Shouts out to everyone who's joining us today. Another episode 22, Bloodline versus Controversy. How's everyone doing? Thank you guys for everyone checking out all of our episodes on Spotify. Checking us out. If you do like all of our content, you know where the places to find us. If you're not, guess what? You can catch us on X. You can follow me on X. That's Miami the Great 305 on X, or you can catch my co-host, Final Boss Baby CFO. That's two B's, one Y, CFO all together. Or you can catch us all on DWE TV. Yes, you can catch the EVP CJ on his recap show, or you can catch our After the Slam podcast. He's on X and also YouTube too. Catch him, or you can catch one of our other shows that is the rundown on Mondays, and you can catch the Smoke Podcast, Sports Jedi, or many of the other shows that we have that comes on the DW TV page. You can catch one of those; they'll be pinned to the page, or go to the click the highlights, and you can catch all those shows on the highlight page, or go to DWE replay page, and you can catch all our shows that does come on our X Live. We have many shows for sports, entertainment, or um, wrestling content that you can catch here. We have many different things, covers so much. We got video games, things like that. So we have grown the company very far. Starting yesterday, we did trademark the DWE name, DWE Radio, and DWE TV. So shouts out to us. We are really growing and going up fast. We're going to talk about the everything that happened from the fallout of the Clash of Italy, and also we're just going to go talk about everything that happened on Raw, SmackDown, a few things that happened. We picked a few topics that we felt like we should talk about with you guys. So shouts out to you guys with that. As we get started to you guys, like I say, thank you guys for joining us. If you're new here, go hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, that's Talk It Up Podcast on YouTube. Go like, subscribe. We got a lot of shorts, a lot of things. You can catch a few of the rundown shorts we got. We even put a few things that went Smoke Podcast and then went live on the YouTube on there. So catch those guys out. Follow the whole team, man. Like I say, shouts out to us. If you're catching us here on Twitch, that's DWE Radio on Twitch or DWE TV, whichever one you want to follow on Twitch. Thank you guys for supporting us. We cannot do this without you guys. So thank you guys for that. Shouts out to everyone who helped us grow as we continue to go on with everything that's going on with today. Like I say, I'm going to get right into it before my co-hosts get into it. Let's get into some raw stuff. Let's get right into it. What's next for the Bloodline? As we know that Jacob Fatu did lose at Clash of Italy, and he had to acknowledge Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns came out. The vehicle, it was him, Jimmy J, coming out with the OTC Roman Reigns. They headed to the ring. I love the. We still have the head of the table music. Um, Very great choice. I want to once if they do get to next year, will we switch this music to something else? Will we go with something different? Um, I don't mind the OTC character. I love the OTC character here. Like I said, shouts out to After Slam. Like I say, you guys give him a follow. He's on here with us After Slam podcast. He says Bloodline versus the World. Let's go. He said, "Yo," and like I said, the EVP show should give him a follow too, and a subscribe on their YouTube page. Those are our vets, man. So give our vets some some love. Shouts out to EVP and After Sam, man. Those guys been with us for quite some time, and they've been holding it down for us. And now we have some new people in that's been carrying in the company too. So if anyone misses some time out, we have some guys that will cover us on content. So shouts out to everyone with DWE and like I said, DWE Radio and DWE TV. Shouts out to everyone. Oh, and there goes another person. There goes Cal here too. Like I said, you can catch Cal on Mondays with him and Greg. They do the rundown. Hey, don't forget, Cal has something coming up real soon. We're not going to announce what day, but he has a special show where it's going to be him. So you guys stay tuned for that. It's going to be on DWE television. So shouts out to him on that. We're not going to reveal too much. You guys got to stick around and figure out what's that going to be, and we will announce it what day, what time, and the name of the show. Me and Final Boss has been working on that lately. Shouts out to you, Kyle, one of the new members that has joined us here lately, and we have welcomed him with open arms. So shouts out to Cal. But like I was saying, back to the Bloodline. We had Roman Reigns come out was practically he had the mic. He was saying that today was a good day. It's acknowledgement day. Sort of like a sorority almost quite a bit. If you ask me, that's what it came off as. So that's what I found out. It came off as a um, acknowledgement day, like a sorority. You had I like the little character art that they did with Jay, saying that Jacob was already late. He's already late on the job. Ways that break him down here, and Jacob Fatu music hit. We get Jacob come down. Trying to really explain to Roman. Hey, I lost it in front of my kids. I lost in front of the world. But at the end of the day, a man has to do what he has to do. Then he turned to Jay and basically just told Jay, but I didn't lose to you, and I like that tension that they put there, that little piece of nugget they put in there. Even with Jay, just like looking towards Roman, just like are you going to get him? And Roman just really saying, Jacob's name. I like all that little bits of parts of that story that I did catch that does maybe down the line will make the story be a little more interesting. And Jacob, he did eventually did acknowledge Roman, saying he acknowledged him, got down on one knee to extend his hand to Roman, and Roman picked him up. They did the handshake, sort of like how Rock and him did back in the day, and saying, Jacob, if you don't know this right now, but you will notice that I love you. And they all put up the ones. Jacob putting up the one. I love the image when they left the ring and Roman putting up the title, and that's the camera, the way that it was angled. I love that picture. One of the pictures we did use on our thumb here was one half of the pictures that we did use. I just feel like that um, this maybe next chapter has to do with something with Solo. We will talk about what's going on with him and Royce Keys, but I just didn't like the way that they didn't put Solo into this no kind of way because his match was up next. So I feel like they could have maybe at least hit the music or something for him to just still cause that tension or make us know that's the direction. We know that might be the direction, but right now I don't know yet. So far we haven't played off of nothing. They did do a backstage segment where Roman told Jay, hey, win your King of the Wing tournament and go after Cody because you had a taste of the heavyweight title, but you never had a taste of the undisputed title. And then trying to pull back Jimmy and told Jimmy, stay back, let him handle it on his own. I did notice that Jacob wasn't around on this part. Now I don't know was that by design or anything, but I did notice that. I don't know would that come into play. It might have been something where they just wanted to do something with him, Jimmy, and Jay and Roman maybe. WWE just wanted to do something with those three guys. I did notice that, but like I say, it was very interesting how they built up this, knowing that this is Nate's. I knew they did replace a few people in the King of the Ring tournament. That's something that me and Fundaboss will talk about here a little later. But like I said, I'm very interested on seeing what will be happening next. Fundaboss, if you're there, can you hear me? Mic check.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
You had any?
perfect.
Did you have any thoughts about what could be next for this bloodline from us? Leading off from Clash in Italy. Did you have any thoughts about the two segments of the bloodline? What we had on Monday with one with Jacob and one with Jimmy. Do you think that will play any part with what we're going with next, and also what how it end on Clash with Solo? Do you think that will play any parts of the next of the chapter of this story? Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, so I liked the part when Jacob came and says, I know what time it is, so it's him really being a man. And even though he's presented as being this real uncontrollable character, which he still is, you know, the one that's going to stand up and say, hey, I agreed to something and I'm here to fulfill it, and that's part of his character. And I like that they kept that on him, for this segment during Raw. Um, Now, as far as the class in Italy, yeah, we got the whole stare down. We saw Solo and the MFTs in the crowd. But what I really liked, and I know you liked, having um, Solo sorry, having Jacob pan over the Solo NFTs in the crowd. Of course, Solo doing his favorite pose, which I love, that kind of like at ease type of stance. But I know you really liked also when, Jay was over there yelling at Jacob to come on, hey, come on, come up the ramp. But what I really loved more so was the interview they had backstage with Roman because, Clash in Italy was a little bit different and you spoke about it during our watch party. And shouts out to the over 900 people we had during that time. Um, but, um, um, Roman and Rhea were two of the stars that did not actually go to the announcer's desk, right? Like their interviews are backstage. And what I liked about Roman's is that you have Roman doing his post interview. You have, you know, Jimmy right behind him, Jay next to him behind him. And then you have Jacob in the far back. And you see Jacob is looking kind of pissed, and you have Jay kind of yelling, but you can't hear what he's saying, but you can see the action, you see him pointing, you see him getting hyped up, and you see Roman just carry on with the interview. I really like that image. Um, and as I looked um for Clash Nilly, I said, well, maybe the whole thought of it is to have him go through the entire family where everyone has to acknowledge him, and then there's only one left, and it will be, I will hope, the final boss, The Rock, and that's how we get our Rock match. Now, I really thought that's where it was going because for me, it made the most sense because I'm like, well, we technically already had Solo, do the acknowledgement. Of course, that was last seen during the Netflix premiere. We had that match, which we now learned a while later that it actually was a tribal combat match. We just thought it was a Ula Fall match, had a table match at the time, but apparently it was a tribal combat match. So I guess, um, of course we had The Rock, put the Ula follow on Roman. But I'm like, well, he already beat Solo. Now we have, in this new era, we have him beating Jacob. So I'm like, well, I guess, we'll have the MFTs and then we'll have, each one of the Usos. So we got like four more people to go through. Now, granted, they done fired, JC Mateo. They done fired one of the Tongas, but we still have two left, and we still have the Usos. So by them going through them four, I'm like, that can really the right book, and it can really push off enough time to where we're going to towards Mania, uh slash Royal Rumble build slash Chamber build, where we can have the Rock come around and have that build for us to have the match. So for me, it made a lot of sense. But then, what happened afterwards? We saw Cody come up to the podium during the post show for Clash in Italy, and he's saying, and he's sitting down, and he's being told, well, did you hear what Roman said? He goes, nope, you got to tell me what he said. And you got to be the messenger here, man. And that was when it was told that Roman says, all that QB1 stuff is pretty much, out the gate, it's gone, I'm champion, whatever. And with so many words, that's what he said. And you had Cody reply back to that and said, hey, I beat him one time. He beat me one time. It's not like we had, two times for me or two times for him. We're still 1-1. And hey, and when I beat him, yeah, he beat me. When I beat him, I beat his ass. If he wants to come in and do it again, we can. So I'm like, well, is Roman gonna, drop the title eventually and go for Cody's title? Is that where we're headed? So I'm just like, man, like where the hell are they going? And then even for this match between him and Jacob, the original thing was, hey, if Jacob loses, then he has to acknowledge him, and then we heard about fire. Right? No, he's not gonna fire him. He's gonna have to acknowledge Roman, serve Roman. Okay, cool. But then we got that weird promo, the segment from Roman saying that, hey, if you beat me, it's like saying, hey, my work here is kind of done. So I'm like, is he like, what does that mean? So it's just, I'm like, where are we really going with the story? So now that we know, okay, well, Clash of Italy is done. Roman clearly Roman won. He said he didn't need anyone, which you kept pointing out. He kept saying that, which he didn't. He went on his own, but that really didn't play too much into what the stuff later on that happened after Crash in Italy. And now we have this whole tease of him and Cody. Of course, we got Roman also saying during the post match, post interview, he named names. He named names like Oba Femi. And so, and Trick Williams. So I'm like, so are we gonna have him just finally fight some other people, like like a Trick Williams, like the Oba Femi? Okay, great. But what are we doing with the bloodline? Okay, now what are we doing with Cody? So it's like, I don't know where the hell they're going. It's like a part of them wants to do the bloodline stuff. The other part of them kind of just wants Roman to take on take on other guys. But the other part of them is like, well, Roman really wants to go for the Undisputed Championship instead. So let's kind of throw that out there. So it's kind of like they're all over the place, unfortunately. And to me, it's bonkers that we're all over the place now. And I want to go ahead and also kind of move into news just a little bit, because one of the things that came out was it was reported, and I can't remember the source, so don't hate me too much. Um, but but it was reported that Nick Khan said that the plan was actually never to have the Rock and Roman match. The plan was always to have Rock do a tag match, which is completely opposite from what we heard in the documentary, completely opposite of the original bill when we got the whole famous line when The Rock came out and said, do you want me to sit at the bar? Like sitting at the bar, so I sit at the head of the table. We got that long pause, you know what I mean? When she got that stare down, like it kind of threw all that out the window. So why, if it was gonna be a tag match, it was gonna be a tag match with Roman with somebody else, because you were teasing it like it was gonna be against Roman. But according to Nick Khan, that was never the plan. The plan was always have Rock, to do a tag match. He did great. We loved him for it. He did a really good job. So I'm like, well, you guys just shit on everything that you told us, storyline wise, because they kept pushing it like, hey, Rock gave his title, his title, his match to Cody. That was played into eventually what we got with the whole, I want your soul, because it kind of played into that whole aspect. And then it also kind of took apart from, the documentary. But what I really think it is that I think Tony Khan is not Tony Khan, that's AEW. Nick Khan is full of shit. I think the plan was to have, Roman and Rock, and like we found out things got changed. But I think the reason why he's backpedaling on it now is because we've been waiting. It's been 2 years, and we have not gotten the Rock and Roman match. And I think there's a heavy chance because it has been 2 years, so that's 2 more years added on to the Rock's age. And the Rock did mention that he's in his 50s like him. I believe that they're pushing that now to try to pull away from the hope that we hope as Bloodline fans, and me in particular, a big Rock fan, that we're ever going to get the Roman and Rock match. I think he's just trying to pull out away, saying no, that we would never going to have that match. What are you guys talking about? We're going to be a tag team match, which to me is disgusting. To me is disappointing. I know things change. We don't know what the reasons behind it really is. Personal reasons, business reasons. We see the reports now about, Rock turned down the invite to White House by Dana White, which of course owns UFC. Um, so I mean, when I read stuff like this, like the whole thing with Nick Khan saying that the plan was never to have a Roman and Rock match. The plan was always to have Rock do a tag team match. Okay, fine. But the fact that you guys are now bringing up the Bloodline story once again, it's really Bloodline story, 3.0, because we had the original story and of course the story after Roman lost the title. And now we have this story now, which is heavily focused around Jacob Fatu, which is great for him. Um, but it's just the idea is like we have people like me and of course others, are like, okay, so where are we going? Are we going to get people coming and debuting? We already had a debuts. We had a debuts of, Jacob. We had a debuts of JC Mateo. The debuts of all the Tongas. So we've been through adding members. We went through that during the Bloodline 2.0 phase. We went through all that. So where are we at now? And it's giving us the idea, like the whole point of it, we're leading to something for Roman, something big for Roman Reigns, would of course would be him versus The Rock. And now we're not getting that, which is disappointing, but hey, it happens. But I mean, if that's the case, why do the Bloodline stuff? Just have Roman face other competitors like, your Royce Keys, like a Trick Williams, like your Oba Femis. Um, have them do, other things, to have, you know, Jacob, be, a king in the ring, and do other things. Hey, there's a Cody right there. I mean, technically, Jacob is, was, a SmackDown star really. And so of course we got this whole acknowledge the tribal chief. So it's just a poor case. And it's like, you're saying things, Nick Khan, and you're not thinking about your booking. Like what you're saying is not relating to into the product that you're presenting to us. And for me, that is frustrating. It is disappointing. And really, for me, WWE has been white noise for me since Mania. It's been white noise for me. I get happy here and there when Cena comes back. I get happy here and there when I see Brie come out, because of course that's Nikki Bella's twin sister. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of been white noise for me. Just because of that. Just because, hey, I think we're going somewhere with the Bloodline story. Yeah, the title looks absolutely great on Roman. Yeah, it's great that Jacob is getting a push. And yeah, it's kind of cool that now we have the Usos, doing something, because, the single run, wasn't, what wasn't the best. And there's a lot of, to be desired there. Yeah, the Yeet stuff is great, and they should really kind of still have that, even though they kind of pull back from that now, which is also really annoying. So now it's like, hey, we can't even have the Usos go by themselves no more because y'all done killed the Yeats. Um, and speaking of kill, which ones I want to talk about LA Knight later on today too about his statements. But but yeah, it's just it's frustrating for me. But overall, to end it out, yeah, I really like their match doing um Clash in Italy. Um, and I'm glad that we're gonna get a direction, at least for Jacob. So even if Roman kind of gets a little sidelined, because of how the story is booked with him being champion, at least we'll get one out of it. It's gonna be great, which is the idea is to really have, um, is to really have Jacob to be a more highlighted singles competitor. Because honestly, with Solo and NFT, even though they're doing their thing, they're not viewed amongst the fans. At least I wouldn't think. I don't think it's even viewed internally to WWE TKO that they are like major top guys. They're not a strong enough faction, especially now with the loss of members due to releases. They're not strong enough faction to, have them actually go on their own and do things. Like I couldn't see, one of, Talla Tonga right now where he is, be championships contender, main card worthy right now just because of the booking. Like they have to be intertwined into this story, into other things to get them believable. Remember, the reason why we believed in Solo is because what happened? Because we got the Bloodline 2.0 after Roman lost his title. That's when we got the character build up of Solo. Before then, we never would have thought Solo could be possibly that guy. So that's kind of where I stand at Miami.
Yeah, we got a few comments. You got the comment session going, so that's a good thing. Let's get to a few comments and shouts out to everyone who made some comments. I think I seen this one a lot on the IWC. Stampede said something that I've been seeing. A lot of people been saying. He said the segment on Monday with Jacob was similar to when you're taking your dog to the vet to take the balls out of it. I think a lot of people are saying they feel like, and I think I know why people are feeling like this about Jacob because Jacob he was so much a star. I think this whole acknowledgement thing for some people makes it feel like it's diminishing his character a little bit, which I don't blame him because I kind of am afraid because we see what happened with Solo. Solo was over. I mean, when he was with Roman, I mean, we was like, man, when
Hmm.
he leaves Roman, he's gonna be the guy. I even thought that, but I think that um this whole thing, if it plays out right, and like I say, me and you both said, we both don't kind of know where the direction they might go from here. But I mean, believe it or not, you heard the crowd still saying the Fatu, in the crowd in the background. I feel like he's still over. Long as you can give him some guys to have him to have some great matches. I think this is the only thing with WWE. They don't have the.
And
I,
and
I
then
think. Oh, go ahead.
and then here's the other thing, and I definitely want you to kind of read through the comments because there's some longtime friends in it I haven't seen in quite some time. That's also in the comments.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. We got quite a few.
but another thing that also annoys me, with the booking of the Bloodline is that Bloodline is supposed to be, really really the main card group, right? Because the Vision.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, they're going to stuff over there, but
Man,
you still, yeah, but you
man.
still have, but you still have all the members of the NFT, they're still coming out to Solo's theme. Why don't they have their own theme? Like, this group has been around for 2 years. I mean, so it's
Yeah.
like it's even stuff like that. Now, granted, Solo probably has one of the top newer songs. I mean, it's really hard to get a good new song in WWE now. But damn, I mean, like, can they get their own music? Can they have a music for when Solo and for when NFTs and when each of the NFT come out? Can we do that now? Because hey, a lot of times when they announce a match and they play the music, I'm thinking it's Solo. Oh no, it's all talking about that match. Oh, okay. So I mean, it's little things, like that shows like, hey, you guys are, you guys, which is WWE TKO, are saying, hey, this is a main story, a main guys and groups, factions, and we can't even get them to have their own, their own song. I mean, so it's little things like that that they need to pay attention to,
Yeah.
and smaller things like, hey, and I talked about this before with you offline. It's a tribal combat match, a clash in Italy. We now know years later that it was technically a tribal combat match between,
Him
um,
and Solo.
yeah, him and Solo during the Netflix premiere debut. But you guys didn't make any effort besides just well
No.
during Italy, telling us, hey, that's what it is. It's really like a DQ match with a fall in it. Like you guys should be
Yeah.
decorating the ring. You guys should be making it look like it's an actual tribal combat match. And I think one of the things I told you, like, hey, remember when we had those like Punjabi prison matches and all those weird matches and they actually did things like and these are things that cost pennies. TKO. These are things. Mark Shapiro, if you're listening, area Emmanuel. I mean, these are things that cost freaking pennies. These things you could buy at damn fucking Dollar Tree. Let's be honest. You could buy crafts and shit from Michaels and shit. Put things up on the rings for like a 20-minute fucking match, man. Who cares if it gets destroyed? That's the whole point of the Chop Combat match. Like, these are things you could actually put up. I mean, hell, it's fucking summer, and during the summertime, a lot of the craft stores like selling what? They like selling that Hawaiian,
Yeah.
luau type of things, which
Hmm.
great. It is very different from the Samoan, but I mean, it is similar because it has the whole tribal look. We know that The Rock, lives in Hawaii. We know about all that stuff. So I mean, they could do things that are like that, at least at a minimum, to give us that vibe. This is a tribal combat match, not a DQ, but a tribal combat match. And they haven't done that. If someone was to go in and watch that match and not watch wrestling, come in the middle of the match, and, oh, it's a no DQ match. Like, no, 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 man. This is a tribal combat match. This is completely different. So that, I mean, that's those small things shouldn't matter, and I feel like they don't for WWE for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. We had and thank you, Stampede, for the comment. Aries said, the bloodline for all to go just like the old days. Only thing about that, Aries, I think with that, I don't. It seems like we're still doing the same thing we did back in the old days, which I don't mind. I mean, I love the old days. I love the old run, but I as a person that loves wrestling, because I have to be biased here, is that you want something new. Yes, they have done back in the day. We did a lot of matches over and over again. I mean, we had a bunch of matches with Stone Cold and Triple H, or Stone Cold and The Rock, or vice versa, however you want to say it. Shawn Michaels, they broke up Shawn Michaels and Triple H 1,000 times, but they did it different and they told the story different. It was always different ways. It was always a certain way where Triple H went to go get Shawn Michaels when he kicked everyone in the hallway and stuff. I mean, it was always entertaining, and that's something that I understand. Yes, there are different people. Even it seems like Solo. I'm pretty sure Solo is going to get Royce Keys to join his group here soon. I don't mind that. That's not the part I don't mind. I'm just hoping that they're gonna something's different. Something's going. You have to do something that's going to make other new people who are watching this not feel like, well, this is the same story you told 4 or 5 years ago. I think that's the thing that I think WWE has a hard task on doing, and I think they put that on their self. I know they're probably trying to complete the story to get to maybe Rock and Roman. But I think you could have told it some. You could have told it different just to get to there. I don't think we had to use the bloodline to get to that. You could have did it many different ways. Me and you both said you could have did something where he, turned on Roman, why Roman was facing someone else, or coming out causing him a match. He didn't have to lose the title, just causing him a match, or just anything. You could have maybe did it any kind of way, because I think no matter how you would have did it, we would have still been like, okay, we're ready for this match because I think that's what most people are anticipating for. So that's many different ways. Like I said, I don't mind them doing the whole thing. I just hope they telling the story different. I mean, I don't mind them having all the gold, but you have to tell that story different than how you did the first 4 years or 5 years they had did it the first time. Yes, there were different people, and it's different people now, but I think that's the thing about this story now. You have to tell the story different. I'm big on storytelling, guys. So if you listen to me, but shouts out to you, Aries. Thank you for your comment. Next comment we had here was from Stampede again, and shouts out to you, Stampede. Stampede said that Cody was never the QB1 in any promotion he worked it for. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did like his work. When he teased a little bit when he was in New Japan, it seems like he was doing he was about to go heel a little bit. He said he wasn't, but to me, the promos that he was cutting, it was pretty much heel. Even though he doesn't want to admit to that. But yeah, I don't think he was never the big guy in any promotion. I think he came close in AEW, but once they got Mox and all these other guys, it was like okay. And I think the crowd. Only reason why I feel like the crowd turned on Cody in AEW is that he didn't want to turn heel. If he would have turned heel, he probably would have been maybe the biggest thing they would have had. The crowd just wanted to turn heel, and he didn't want to turn heel. Seems like that's the same route he's doing now. And by now you would think, well, okay, would you want to, you will learn from your mistakes. But I mean, some people don't like going heel. Look, it worked for The Rock, Cody. I mean, so try it out for you. You never know where it's going to go. We probably get it on down the line from that. But yeah, I do agree with you on that, Stampede. Shouts out to
Yeah,
you for your second comment. Oh, go ahead.
and the thing is also about Cody and his AEW start and run is that he came in with promises and some he kept and some he didn't
Mm-hmm.
keep and a lot of and one of the biggest things he didn't keep was he said, hey, I'm going to give my chances to other guys. And towards the middle slash end of his tenure there, he started to have more and more main matches. And then he said, well, then he had the whole stipulation, well, I can't go for this title anymore. So
Oh, I don't know if we lost Final Boss. Is that Final Boss?
got his hair for the movie. And
Oh,
he's like, oh no, it's homage to, his dad. It
mm-hmm.
originally
Mm-hmm.
were, was for the movie. And we thought, and then
Mm-hmm.
we had the whole, well, is he gonna, the dark and light? And it never came to be. And then he just started to get booed. So like it was just was a lot of pieces to that. Um, and I did like Cody, initially, but then at that time, it started to get kind of annoying. He was coming out and then having all the great matches. I mean, hell, I mean the last match that the late great Brody Lee had was against Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah.
So um
Yeah.
and it was a damn good
If I'm
match,
not
right?
mistaken, it was
Um
I think that was for the TBS championship. I think maybe I could be wrong, but I think it
I
was.
believe so. It was definitely a hardcore match. It like changed and shit. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was just pieces that were like that, and uh, with Cody, he's not the worst wrestler out there. I got to give him some flowers. I know, I'm not a Cody fan, but I have to give him at least some flowers because he's not the worst guy out there. Is he the best guy out there? No, he needs to be far more superior than what he is based on how long he's been wrestling, based on the fact that he's been through multiple promotions. I was not a big fan of him during his TNA run. I thought that was absolute garbage. And for
Yeah.
those who don't
Yeah, you
know,
told me. Yeah.
most of his TNA run towards the end was he was out for a while, I believe, with a legitimate injury. And that was when Moose had like first debuted in them. So that tells you Moose been there for like a long time because that was, of course, during
Yeah.
Dixie Carter era. Um, and while he was gone, we're talking about Cody, Brandy Rose was still there, and she was over there being like a managerish role for Moose. And then Cody comes back. He's like, what the hell is this? What's going on, between you two? And then that was Cody really being like a heel character. And I wasn't even a big fan of that. And I love Moose. But I wasn't a big fan of that. Now, hey, I get a lot of shit about this. But I liked Cody, you know, being dashing Cody Rhodes, and we all know the
Okay, I
reason he
like
got
Dusty
that.
Rose.
Well,
Dusty Rose,
apparently,
I get it.
according to WWE, is that he was that because he was voted most attractive during like some survey or something. So that I also like, and hey, a lot of people sue me for this, and I know you're gonna sue me for this. I liked him being Stardust. Yeah, things he did behind stage a little wacky with the whole flips and stuff, but I thought him doing things, with his brother Goldust, who was a legend in my opinion and should be in the Hall of Fame. Of course, he doesn't care about that because he's happy where he is. But um, but I thought it was great. They were not booked to be, losers. Yeah, they were as a comedy act ish, novelty act, but they were booked strong. They had a lot of TV time. They were tag team fucking champions. So I thought it was actually a great thing. Cody hated it because he hated to put on face paint. He hated kind of being in Goldust's shadow. But it's like, hey, you're saying that. I get that. That's cool. That's fine. You want to be your own person, but you're saying that, but then you kind of want to live in your dad's shadows. I guess you like your dad more like a brother. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But it's always been kind of like, weird to me. Um, but yeah, that's the whole spiel on Cody Rhodes. But I mean, to be honest, we're in a place now WWE. Hey, we're thankful we got him at this point because we don't even have enough challenges for Roman Reigns the goddamn face. So yeah,
But
let's
but
go
yeah,
ahead
because like I said,
let's just be thankful.
yeah, and like I tell people, I mean, when you think about um your stars. I mean, come on. I mean, the first people I think about is Roman, Cody, Drew. I mean, Jacob is now up there. Oba Femi, Trick Williams. I still put Breaker in there. I know a lot of people feel like Breaker's kind of fell off. I think he has to build himself back up. Breaker.
Poor
Um,
booking.
yeah, I think it's just poor booking, but I think those are like your guys. Seth Rollins, I still put him in there. Seth, CM Punk. I mean, those are like your guys. So you still have a few guys there, but it's only so many guys you can do because you got some guys on SmackDown, some guys on Raw. So it's only very few. I do like you said earlier, I do like Roman's comments where he was like, he challenged Royce Keys, Oba Femi, Trick Williams. I would like to see him and Javon Evans. I mean, you got a high flyer and a powerhouse. I know sometimes people don't like those two minutes, but sometimes you can get a good match, sometimes you can't. I mean, it all depends on how it falls out. I do like that, and especially with them teasing, like I said, Javon going Hill. But yeah, let's go to our next topic. Speaking of Oba Femi was in the
Oh
Kingdom.
wait,
He did
shout out
take a
to Pat
loss.
Man, and I think Pat Man is saying, hey, I see
Oh,
Slam was in here as
okay.
well.
Yeah, I say a shout out to Slam. Let's see. Okay, I didn't see you down there, Pat Man. You way down there. Yeah, shout out to
Yeah,
you, Pat
I
Man.
see you
So,
down there.
so thank you for your comment. Like I said, thanks to Stampede, Ari, CJ, Slam, Kyle, after Slam. Hey, thank you guys. We rarely get comments, so hey, we appreciate you guys commenting when y'all guys get time. We know y'all guys really do listen to us like it's a radio, so shouts out to that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Y'all be quiet in here. Y'all don't say nothing. Quiet.
Over Femi, man, did take a loss from Brock Lesnar. A lot of people was a little frustrated about Oba taking this loss from Brock Lesnar, but he did come out um to the King of the Ring tournament. And man, the guys tried to attack him. I don't know if you've seen this final boss. Everyone tried to attack him, but he laid out everyone and still did the pose right after that. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. A lot of fans like, okay, man, well, okay, we kind of apologize. We didn't think that you're gonna still have the aura. Obafemi did really well. I did like the stuff that he did with him and Solo here and there. He really took control of the match. Even when he was on the outside, he came back in, came back strong. They gave him a good comeback slot there. And I wasn't surprised he won in this slot here. He does take on Dominic Mysterio, which we did find out about that on SmackDown because Dominic did win his qualifying match to move on to take on Over Finn 1-on-1. I really feel like Oba's going to advance, which is very interesting because um, I mean, we might get over and Seth, and I'm like, well, what direction they're gonna go? But that's the thing about this King of the Ring, because we've seen people like Gunther versus Cody, Jay versus Cody, so they do come down to this sort of type of matches where they go, sometimes the way we don't think they're gonna go, and they go the opposite way. But Oba looked great, like I said. Shouts out to Oba. He did say at the end of his match, Brock did throw everything he had at him, but he still his hair he did that weak to Brock like Brock did to him. He said, "Remember, Brock, it's still 1-1," and he said, "I'll see you down the road." So I'm still thinking they're going the direction where it's gonna be him and Oba final boss. I don't think they're gonna probably do the Gunther and Brock match unless it be like a triple threat type of thing, which that would
I just wanna
quite interesting, but
I
I don't
wanna
know.
interject here for a moment.
Okay.
Um, hey, when they had that Clash of Italy match, I already had a feeling that Brock was gonna win, but man, he came in looking strong. When you see him run the ropes before Oba came, I mean,
Yeah.
it was crazy. I mean, hell, there are people on that roster who would have did run the ropes like that. It would have got gassed out like a motherfucker. I mean, it's crazy. And Brock Lesnar, that day, he is 40. He is not young by any means.
Hmm.
So it's crazy how much of a specimen he really is. And I think I think, as much as we have our ups and downs of Brock Lesnar, and then a lot of that stuff is rightfully placed. I mean, this was a guy who left WWE because he didn't want to do it anymore, and that was something that, hey, even Paul Heyman has come out and told us, unscripted wise, that, when Brock left, he really didn't want to do it anymore. Then, we got to return Brock Lesnar, and then, we know about how he was gone. He was champion. He wasn't there. He was just doing stuff, doing, you know, MMA, UFC stuff, doing great. And then he came about WWE. And then, of course, allegations came out. And the fact that he really, you know, overcame all that stuff, man. That's something that, hey, not a lot of people can overcome. He had controversy after controversy kind of pop up, and he's still, a guy that can come out there in the ring and still be seen even by fans that, we know all this as fans, and we still look at him as being, an absolute specimen. And for me, that shows you, how great he actually really is, right? Um, and also, of course, we know about his work, he did in MMA and UFC, and I remember when Punk went over there, and it was that's real bad. I remember because I watched that first match, and I was really excited at first, and he even had his music he even had his music out. He even had the cult personality play for him, and that's how far that went. But and it just things like that are just so impressive, to me. And shout out to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, he's still there. We know that he was really close to the Vince. We know about Vince is not there anymore. We know he falls down after the whole thing with Vince. And he's still there. He still cares enough about the business to be in great shape, to put on decent short matches. That's what they are. As a Brock Lesnar match, they only go for about 6-7 minutes, but they're great quality, high intense matches. And we talk about giving out flowers, but I think hey, despite everything that Brock has done, not saying what he's done is great. And I've seen our wrestling reports, and as you said, it's not as bad as I initially thought. Knowing the backstory, but he's great. Now the thing is that I don't know if Brock kind of comes back from that because it's weird because you got Brock, and Paul Heyman saying he is retired, but he has the match. So it's like, but then you got Oba Femi saying see down the road. So I'm like, this is one more match and then he's done. I guess it's the SummerSlam match and then be done, which we all kind of thought because that's his hometown. I mean, it's just a weird thing. It's like, why do the retirement angle at all? You guys should have left that for SummerSlam. I just don't understand it. Unless things change, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the whole story. Is
Mm.
that Oba is still calling them out, and they're gonna do one last match. Which, like I said, I love the match. I mean, Oba took seven,
So basically,
five.
basically in
Man,
charge of the makeshift streak because it'll be 1 and 2,
yeah,
so
yeah.
1 and 1. Oh my God.
Well, that not just that. I think because, like I say, Oba really sold for Brock, made Brock look incredible. Brock had the expressions when Oba kept kicking out, kept getting up. I
Hold
loved
on
it.
now, hold on. Did Obafemi really sell, or is it because Broad be throwing motherfuckers left and right? Okay.
Well, I think Oba's a pretty big dude, and he played
Well,
football, so I think
I like Oba. I think he's a great competitor. Um, Probably one of the best that we have right now as far as new guys. But you know, Ron Lesnar, when he could have 5, man, it just whatever you fucking man. They just look so like uncontrollable. How when you fall and you have to take off, supposed to have that control. And I feel like when he does that move, it's just limited control about how you land, man.
yeah.
It's hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah. It is. It's hard to watch, but I mean, everybody knows it. Like I say, shouts out to Obafemi. He won that qualifying match. We'll see what's next for him. Like I said, I think he's going to go all the way. It's going to be interesting where we get. Like I say, we'll talk about his opponent, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was another person that will be going on to moving on to the King of the Ring. I think he's actually going to be the favorite to win Final Boss, but now I'm like, they could switch things to go over because Roman did call out over Femi. But Seth Rollins at the end of this match did put up the one, signing Roman. I know this is not a match you want to see again, but I think they're going to finally end it at SummerSlam. I think I would think they will close the chapter, but I think their guys going to run it back one more time before one of these guys retire. Because I mean, their stories intertwined. No matter what you want to say, they could team up at the end of their careers. Who knows? Like I said, we have seen some weird things happen in WWE. But yeah, I think Seth will finally win King of the Ring. He has won everything. I think I said this when I was watching Raw. I think Seth has done everything there is except win King of the Ring. And I think this will finally close the chapter for him that he can finally say, "Hey, I've done everything there is to do in WWE." And I think this is the final thing that he can check off his list. And I think with this, he can, start probably giving other people opportunities because I don't see him going nowhere no time soon. Um, like I
Man,
said, great.
I would like to see him go for another championship run.
Really.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's time
I think
because seeing the title on Roman, it feels right, and I feel like when the time is, is a little bit down the line, whether it be 6 months from now, whether it be even closer to Mania time, I think it'll feel right with the right build and him being that top guy again. I think it's time because if you look at it, they've all had it. I mean,
hmm
Punk. Remember a couple years ago, what did we get? We had that whole favor and friendship, that whole weird thing we had, and what we got out of it eventually. We got Punk was champion. We got Roman now back champion. So who's missing it now? I feel like it's now to be Seth Rollins' turn. And I feel like, unfortunately, and I don't think anyone ever thought this would happen. I really feel, in my heart of hearts that, the vision really derailed Seth Rollins. I feel like it really undercut him a lot. And I know that at the time before joining the vision, Seth wasn't really, booked to be that sort of guy anymore due to time off and injuries and booking. But and this vision was meant to be like a really like a revival, not revival FTR, but it was really meant to be, like a way to get him back, as being a top guy, doing that relevancy, and it actually, I feel like it's really undermined. We had weird things. We had like the Masked Man, and him and the Masked Man goblins, and it just really kind of undermined Seth Rollins. I want to see him go back to being, Seth freaking Rollins, Monday Night Rollins. Have him be that guy, have him be that being that workhorse. If everybody can take it and not get injured, and have him be champion. And do things with that, and then start working on elevating other guys. And I think that was part of the reason why the reason felt the way it felt. Yeah, of course we got all these injuries and craziness, but I also feel like a lot to do with placement. Seth wasn't built to be. He wasn't at his tip of his game booking wise when he joined the business. And I feel like him being back in the championship scene would do a lot of damage control, start out damage control. Uncle Seth Rollins for taking this kind of weird, wacky year that he's had with the vision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so too. We'll see. Like I said, I think Steph is my favorite final boss when it comes to the king and queen of the ring. I definitely got him. Both are. But like I say, we got over Femi, so I mean, it
That
could go
freaking
over.
King Rollins.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it could go over too, man. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see what they're gonna do with this Dom and Oba match. We're gonna definitely talk about Dom being
It's gonna be like a squash match, right? It's gonna be old Femi's absolutely
yeah,
gonna rip
yeah,
apart. Like,
but I mean, what you do when Ova takes on Seth? I mean, you got both of the guys, so I mean, it's very interesting that Ova's taking on these big stars because I mean,
well,
the
remember, you'll have that whole thing with Steph saying, I'm not gonna stay down, and they'll keep he'll do like a whole bunch of what's the name of Oba's
beat
move again?
down. You talking about
Oba's move.
Ova's match?
Oba's move, the finishing move.
Ah, shoot.
Never mind. Anyway, I got time to be slow. But yeah, like
That's a good question. I really don't know. Maybe somebody will say
yeah,
in the
I
comment. I
think
really don't know.
I forget what it's called. But yeah, it's basically it's like a power bomb.
I'm not.
But yeah, like
I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, but yeah, it'll just be Seth Rollins saying that, I won't stand down. I'll never stand down. That's kind of like Steph's, like persona. So it'll be that, and it won't make Oba look any, less strong than what he is. It just be it just be Steph being, like the workhorse thing. Remember, we're talking about Seth Rollins, the guy who has ranked gold and shit. So he kind of has that background. So it makes sense for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Last but not least, for our Raw talk, we did get the Io Sky winning her first round, and then Queen of Rings. This would probably be another person who would get into the finals. I think that they're going to probably set up where it's going to be Io and Charlotte. Because they did tease it a lot on SmackDown. I'm very interested on seeing what direction they're going to go. Because only reason why at first I was thinking Charlotte may could win this whole thing, but with Liv not having no one to face, they could let Io win and let it be Io and Liv face each other because this will be at
Well, the whole goal of living in a tournament is not about really being king, queen of the ring. She's in the tournament because she wants to take Rhea's title. You know that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
But I don't think she's gonna get out the first round. I just think that it's
uh,
something weird gonna happen and somebody else gonna best out of that group, out of the Fatal Four Way with her.
Yeah, 'cause we had that whole tease during the Raquel backstage in there. I guess they're borrowing the clubhouse because simply I know the clubhouse didn't move from Raw to SmackDown, but yeah, I kind of there was some
Yes,
things
I
going
mean,
in there.
they always gonna do those little teas, and they never gonna play out the way they said because they want to put it out there. Oh, if you win, I want you to go for Rhea, and if I win, I go for Rhea. Never putting it off of their self and stuff. Which I mean that's pretty cool, but we know that it never goes out that way. It's very few times they've done that. We be like, oh man, what they gonna do? I mean, it's been a while, and I think the last time we seen something similar to that or sort of close to almost to that is like, well, I think about the Batista stuff when they was remember when Flair and Batista was asking Batista go to SmackDown or
And
they
it's
gave him the
and
Raw
they signed a
contract.
contract.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
gave a
So I
thumbs
think
up and
about
he gave a thumbs down. He turned. I love that stuff. Um,
yeah. I think if you want to do that with the Judgment Day, that's something you would have to do. It would be pretty cool because it's been a while since they done that, and they haven't done that with the women. I think it'd be a very cool moment for not just for Judgment Day. I think for fans too, where we were like, okay, we seen it coming, or we didn't see it coming that way. I think that'd be pretty cool. With like, okay, even if real, let's say Raquel goes all the way, but like, okay, well, Raquel, who do you choose? And maybe Liv gives her like sort of like they have a contract where it's her and Rhea, and then Liv is kind of like, oh, go for Rhea, and Raquel says no and choose Liv. I mean, that would be pretty cool, and that's where you do the
yeah,
turn because me and you
that
talked
would be
about it off
great.
air. That this turn needs to come on and come. If y'all going to do it, do it. If not, um, just do all the girls all together. Just put them in a group and just be done with it.
Well,
Just make them a group and go with it. Other
well,
than that,
and then there's been a lot of talks about Judgment Day. I think we talked about last week, but Dominic expressed his concerns about WWE booking and creative, saying they don't know what to do with him. And but there's some reports that came out that said that is true, but they also want him to still build as that live dog character, so that's why they put him on TV so much, even though he's not having matches. So they still want to highlight the character. But I really think the truth of it is, and hey, I'm sorry to all you dog fans out there, but right now the way he's being placed and booked, at least right now, is that he's there really to be the backup of Liv Morgan. It's not vice versa. Initially during the initial piece of Liv Dom, it was really Liv that was there to, you know, kind of be the backbone of Dominic. Now it's kind of the opposite where I see he's just on TV, because he plays a role into Liv. And then I think the goal with him is to eventually have him go, to AAA and do more things down there. Have more matches down there and really actually transition into being this really full time down there. I think that's the goal, but I think they're so nervous about pulling that trigger and having him just being this huge AAA star because they're like, well, if we do that, then that kind of kills Liv Dom. How does Liv kind of come up from that? Because getting rid of Dom, it really would really crush her identity because her whole identity is just being Liv Dom. That's her identity.
yeah,
Her running around with Dom. I mean, that's her identity. And without Dom, you're just gonna have this random girl run around say, "I'm the best of all time." You already know that. That's not even close to being true. But that's part of her gimmick. Without her having a stable, without her having Dom, it just kind of. I mean, it makes it kind of really undermines her character. Um, let's just forget about the guys, the guys. But as far as Raquel and Roxanne, who are both also great, but it's like where they kind of fit into the fold. You have to have either go solo or be a tag team and get the women's tag team division. I mean, it's just a lot of a lot of pieces. Now, not saying it can't be done. Not saying that they should just have Dominic go down to Flair. That's what they want to go ahead and do, and have Liv be a solo star and have Raquel and um, Roxanne be a tag team, and then eventually, when they're ready, they'll depart them. I think that would be the best move, but it's like I feel like the reason why Dom is still kind of hanging around there is because I think that's part of the identity of Liv Morgan.
Yeah, like I say, I find it weird. Right after those comments, Dom did win this match. You said you want to talk about LA Knight. That's another person that said he was very concerned about his booking because he said he feels like a tribe with no country. And don't forget that this Monday he has his fatal 4-way match on Raw Final Boss. With Dominic winning his match, do you think he's going to go in? Because remember, they did replace a couple people in their match. They replaced Ricky Saints. They replaced Tama Taylor in their matches. They put Drew
Tonga.
McIntyre and they put I think it's Drew and they put who was the other person they replaced with? I know Royce Keys is already in there. It's Drew and someone else. I can't think of who else it is. I'm gonna look at the picture. I can't think of it off the
Okay.
top.
Well, why you look at that? But yeah, LA Knight came out and had some concerns about his creative booking. He said that he felt like the fans' reaction has died down off him due to poor booking. He said he's always felt underappreciated across, his wrestling career. And, when it came to LA Knight, I mean, LA Knight, I mean, he is really what I would define as a cruiserweight. I mean, he's a smaller guy, has a classic, overly tan guy, but has a really cool song and a really cool catchphrase. But I mean, as we know, and Miami just learned recently that LA Knight was formerly known as Eli Drake, and it was a similar, very actually similar character in TNA. So he hasn't really developed out of having that same character for decades. He's older of a guy. He's in his 40s. Looks great, but still in his 40s. But also has been really botching in matches, even though he's been wrestling for a long time. And I think his placement, and sometimes you have to understand, like, hey, I'm not saying your placement can't change because you can always go up and down the card, but I feel like his placement, based on everything I just mentioned, he's an upper mid card guy, and then that's kind of where we are. It's like, how do you continue to book someone like that, especially right now with what WWE has roster wise as far as their booking? Because really, they were kind of really the only place that I feel like he would really fit in would be with Damian Priest or Liv Truth. Damian Priest or a R Truth, or with the Sammy stuff, maybe a Johnny Gargano stuff, or even a Sami Zayn stuff. I don't feel like he fits anywhere else besides what I just named because of how he's played and with his characters.
Yeah, I mean, LA Knight, he's that old school type of character. When he just came at the wrong time, he gives me that more of a ruthless aggression era, like
Yeah,
attitude era type of
yeah,
character. So it seems like he came at the wrong time. A lot of fans like him. A lot of fans,
yeah. He has a really
you
cool
know,
catchphrase.
yeah. And I know we seen the documentary of him when he from what we understand from last year, he must have won the Money Bank briefcase because I guess something went wrong in the match and it didn't go right. We seen Triple H, kind of going at him a little hard. Which I mean, hey, I mean if you both did something at a certain spot, I mean, hey, you know things could have went wrong. Something could have went wrong. A lot of fans got upset. But I mean, LA Knight is around that age where they usually put the strap on people. I never,
Well, he's like
I,
44, right?
yeah, I mean, well, that's the age where they usually do it.
Oh Lord.
Around the 40s. I mean, let's just be honest.
So
but
let me get it straight. So around 40 to 44 is when they put the rocket pack on you, and around 46 to 48 is when you retire.
well, back in the day they used to, but it seems like they nowadays these guys are retiring a little early.
Yeah, because they're retiring, in their late 40s now. And as you
Yeah. Because
know,
you know, back in the day, guys used to wait till they
and
was
LA Knight
early in the
says he
fifties.
wants to retire. Well, LA Knight said he wants to retire at 50. So,
And that was
kind of like
about the
Seth
age
Gone
they used
there.
to retire. Like I say, LA Knight is just one of those old school type of people characters. I don't look at him as a mega star to me. Not saying that he's not and he can't be. It's just for me, he's not the guy. I feel like I'm not saying I would be surprised they throw one of the straps on him right now. The undisputed titles in limbo. I would rather see him go after Cody than Roman because we've seen that match a dozen times. I mean, they seem like they put him right back into the bloodline story again. I feel like I do understand what he's saying. Give him something new. You put him in this once. Let him go after Cody. Let him and Cody do a few feuds together. I would like to see that. I don't think we have had enough time to see that. Because even Cody needs someone. I know we said Roman needs some people, but also
I got a question now. Did you look at this Facebook lookup? Did you find out who was on the King of the Ring? I mean, King of the
well,
Ring.
come to find out, that was false information. It's the same people.
Oh my God.
They said it was Drew and Sammy, but they have not put them unless WWE
Oh,
has not put them on the thing, but they have not been replaced yet.
oh, okay. But
Because
Drew just had a birthday.
now
He
thinking
turned
about it,
41, so.
yeah. Now thinking about it, Sammy didn't even say nothing about being in the tournament. He just came out there and wanted to be a part of Cody's and Gunther's match, which we were going to talk about that here a little bit later once we switch to our SmackDown. But
Or just
that is
now.
one of our topics. So
Just
um
now.
yeah, we'll have to see. Final boss. Let's get to some SmackDown talk. Here, Julian did turn on on Kalani James. I thought you seen this part.
I don't think that's
He
a
said,
term. They're putting
"You
it.
don't think so?"
No, because the way that they're pitching it, based on her facial expressions and me looking at the clips, how that was making me, look at that. Because I did see at the end of the match where James was like, it's done, we're over, and I kind of turned away to go do some business stuff. Um, so I was like, that's the end of it. I didn't know about what happened after that. So I had to go back and actually watch the rest of that, and I saw um, Giulia just absolutely lose it on James. But the
Mm-hmm.
way that it's positioned is not a position of her being the heel. That's a position of her being like the heartbroken friend. If you look at her facial expression, it's her feeling betrayed.
Mm.
That's what they're trying. That's the story they're trying to tell. At least what I interpret it as being done so.
I can see him. I can see him going that direction. I mean, I didn't think of it like that. I was thinking if it, I was looking like it maybe was a turn because maybe they did want to split these two people up. I mean, you could see it that way.
Because
James,
remember, Giulia came out there to help,
yeah,
it cost her.
I think,
And then we had James saying it's over because he was mad at her for costing her. So it was really
mhm.
James turned on her. If you think about those facts.
I think we was debating before we came on the show who was the heel and who was the face here.
Yeah, and it's kind of like
I
it's
was
kind of like a job, right?
that was a good debate.
Think about if you get fired from a job. Well, the heel is the asshole's job who fire you, but hey, I'm fired, so let me go ahead and tear up this here lobby real quick. I mean, it's kind of the same idea. It's like who was wrong in this situation? Well, you did fire him. In this case, well, James, you did say you were done with her. So, I mean, even if she offered to help you. So, it's that whole mindset.
Yeah, we'll see. We know Julian has that new look. She has that blonde look. It doesn't look right to me. I mean, I gotta get used to it maybe. As we get down to it. I mean, now Julian's by herself, Columbia's by herself, James is by herself.
Oh, well, I believe they'll have her go right into right into the United States Championship run. I
Well,
think that's where they're headed. Okay.
that'll be good for Tiffany because Tiffany has a few people going after her. Blake has called her out. I mean, when are we gonna let Blake have a match? I have no clue. Someone prepared.
You know what vibe she gives me when she the fact that when her booking is going.
Oh Lord, I think I know what you're about to say. And please don't say
Yeah.
Eva Marie. I think that's what it was.
Yes.
I
Yes.
knew you was about to
Yes.
say it because that's the
Cause
first thing that came to my mind. I
think
said
about it.
Eva
It's
Marie.
very similar
Oh
because
no, no.
remember when Eva Marie came back, when she
Yeah, I
came
didn't think
back,
about that
her
at all.
character, her character was her being this pretty girl.
Yeah.
She was supposed to illustrated model, come out and never had a match.
I didn't think about that. Now you're saying it, it just clicked. I don't know why I didn't think about that. At first I was like, it passed me and I was like, oh,
Also,
maybe
you know what was the other thing too? People forget. Remember Emma when she was Emma Lita?
yeah, her too. Her too.
When she was Emma Lita, now she came back with just the badass with the leather on. When she was Emma Lita with the dress and everything, like on the beach for Raw, and they kept premiering her as being like this beautiful thing, and she just never had a match. And she was Emma Lita. That
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
and,
CJ
and,
said,
and,
I guess he's talking about, I don't know if he's talking about Blake, Moreau, or James, but he said 2 weeks in London and she's from the UK. So I'm guessing, I guess he's talking about maybe, Blake Moreau, which I didn't know that. I didn't know she was from the UK. Oh, okay. He's talking about Blake. So
oh
Blake, I mean, so they should have been debuting her then. I would have been debuting the crap out of her. Hopefully they do it before the tour's over. They still
well
have a couple more weeks, so we'll
Well, you know
see.
that hometown, man. That hometown thing don't mean a damn thing because look, we have well yes we have Nikki Bella who is injured, but Brie Bella is of course Italian, and we were in Italy, and yeah they have matches. It's not like they're doing anything extra big for her. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, but
ain't like she main event and shit right now. All right, so it's like,
but you
hell, we're
think
doing a whole
at
tour in
least have a
Italy.
debut, final ball. We can't have a debut at least once or have one match.
Nah, be quiet here. You get nothing. What's Johnson? You get nothing.
Oh Lord. Okay, John Cena. Next but not least, Chad Gable is back on SmackDown, back
Well,
on the
I really like how we got there, though. See, that's the piece. So you're saying that, but I don't like how we got there because I did not expect him
what?
to show up. Well, remember we had the whole match versus match. We know all about the Chad Gable. What I thought was great at the
Mhm,
end, how he said, "My
mhm,
name is Chad Gable. I was born this is my family. I've been fighting for 13 years." Blah blah
mhm.
blah. But when SmackDown came, we had Sami Zayn backstage, talking to Johnny Gargano, who was just laid out on the stuff again. And we got Nick Elton, and we got Nick Elton saying, "Hey, I don't have time for this. I got something more important. I got someone more, more important to speak to." And he's like, "Well, who could be more important to me?" And here comes, Chad Gable. Wearing his old school suit and everything. I thought it was great, but. Yeah,
Well,
and the crowd went too, by the way. When they heard Ray start taking it, they went absolutely wrong.
I think this will be great, just not for him, because we're saying that we were saying, and I said it earlier. Trick Williams is such a big um character and a person. I think this will be not just great for Chad Gable, because Chad Gable is more like, I put him in that like Daniel Bryan or Kurt Angle kind of like type of style. And I think that will be great for Trick Williams. I think it'll be great for both of the guys. I think both of those guys could probably go out and have a great match. I would love to see Chad win the United States title and just do this whole, I wouldn't say like Kurt Angle gimmick, but Kurt Angle type of type of run with the United States title. I think this could give him a new start. They have to do it. We was here once before. Remember when Chad was over? Remember back in the day when Chad was over, when they was doing that Gunther and stuff with Gunther and him? I mean, we was like, man, push this guy to the moon. So I think they're going to probably revisit that here, Funny Balls. this gives him a fresh start because he's been on Raw for a while. I don't think he's been on SmackDown since he was what Shawty G character, and
Oh
then he went
God,
to Raw.
I hated that fucking character.
Yeah, I did too. So I think that's the last time he could. I could be
Yeah,
wrong. Like
on
you
last
said,
time on
if
SmackDown,
Stephanie
yeah,
said
on
it, I know
SmackDown, yeah,
he'll know. Correct
on
me if
SmackDown,
I'm
yeah.
wrong, but I cannot remember the last time we seen him. I know he went back to Chad Gable, of course, and he still was on SmackDown for a while. But I think right after that he went to Raw, too. But like I said, I think when he really got over is when they was doing that whole stuff with him and Gunther, and by Gunther being on SmackDown, you can revisit that. There's a lot you can do with that. I mean, Gunther and him, that can help out that. So you can add a couple more people to the mix. I do like this move, Final Balls, because it does add more depth to SmackDown. Thank God we're down to 2 hours. Now, you said you did like the show; it did flow well. It was all right for me. I
Yeah,
feel like there's still
it
some
flowed really
more kinks
well.
that yeah, we can. It's still some more kinks for me, but I did like the run. A lot of backstage stuff though. I mean that's cool, but I feel like we could have did more matches. But I think they want to introduce a little more newer stuff and stuff like that. But let's do a little few more matches for me. I think that's all for me. But yeah, I mean, shouts out to Chad Gable. A lot of possibilities for him up next, Final Balls.
Mhm. Yeah, and like I said, the crowd went crazy when when we see him because it's
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
time we see
yeah.
this first time
And
we
it seems
seen Chad Gable in a long time since he's been part of Americano.
and
So
and it seems like they're going that babyface role with him. We'll see
mm,
um with him. Um Next, one of the Tongas did beat Royce Keys. I was very shocked about this because from when Roman called Royce Keys, I was like, oh well, man, maybe they're gonna make Royce Keys start winning a couple matches and start building them up. But I did understand the angle because later on in the segment, you seen Solo say, and I like Solo's segment here. I don't know if you've seen it, but he
nope.
came to Keys and said, "Hey, you see what you see what Roman did to your boy Jacob. You know what I'm saying?" He said, "Hey," he said, I brought Jacob in here, and he said, "Did you get a call from Jacob? Is anybody here to help you? Did nobody?" He said, "Nobody came out to help you." He said, "You brought
Yeah, but
yourself in here."
but I think that's just a diversion because then we got the whole stuff with Damian Priest and our truth
Yeah,
came out
yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then stuff
yeah.
backstage, between our truth and but I think the real story is not what you think. It has nothing to do with fucking Solo. I think that the new shit honestly is that based on what we saw yesterday, when we saw that weird Becky's interaction between Priest. Well, really, it's kind of like yeah. That's gonna go ahead and cut me off. Now you gonna talk about cars here. It feels like where they're trying to go with it is you're gonna have our truth be with Royce Keys
I think so
because
too.
because
It feels like
because you
that.
have this whole thing where you got and the thing that kind of pissed me off is that it's really the same story they were telling with the Street Profits, except for now is you got Priest telling our truth, man. Come on, man, let's go, man. Like, don't worry about that. You always has nothing to do with this. It's the same freaking story they were telling with the Street Profit. It's the same.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
Street Profit in the
yeah.
vision, with NFTs and Royce Keys with Damian Priest and R Truth. Because backstage, you got R Truth, talking to Royce Keys, saying that, hey, Damien could be a little hard to with this first, and really taking a side of Royce Keys. It really seems like, R Truth really wants to help, Royce Keys and Damien is not is kind of playing that Ford that Montez Ford character where he's like it's not our business. We got something to worry about. So it's really and for me it's kind of cool, but also really lazy fucking booking because you're taking the same story from Raw and put it on different guys on SmackDown. It's the same story.
Hmm.
It's literally copy and paste. All they did was copy and paste it and change the name. That's all they did.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. They can go a lot of different directions with it. Hopefully this can help a little bit out of Royce. I was hoping they was gonna let him win a couple matches to start building him a little bit, so we can at least get the crowd behind him. But we'll see what they're gonna go with next. Here on SmackDown.
I think it'll be a reinvention for our troop if they were to do it because remember, our troop and Royce Keys kind of had that same similar background where we know of our troop being that funny guy, but we also remember that we got taste of our of Ron Killers for a little bit, and then they kind of went back on that. Um, so, I believe that he does be a Royce Keith because Royce Keith that's put over as like this scrappy guy from like the hood and he made it and, something about now we're here type of story. I believe the whole idea is to have him and R2 team up and you have R2 be that edgy character back to being that Ron Killings guy again.
I mean, maybe they could. We could probably. That could be a possibility. I can see them doing that too. I mean, we'll have to see. I think. Well, I think Damien probably going back solo. I think he needs to change his character. I've been saying it for a while. I think he needs to
Uh,
stretch something new. Just he needs to change. He's been having the same
I mean,
build.
we can because if we do that, they'll have to get my own new music. So now we're gonna keep things. All right.
No, I mean, man, do something, man. I want something kind of new from him. I've been asking for that for quite some time. Um, the next match was we had Rhea come out first. Rhea did a promo. She cut a promo on Jade saying that she beat Jade at Clash of the Italy. Saying that that chapter's done. It's time to move on. She said she's still staying here as your women's champion. And then out comes Charlotte Flair. Charlotte said that she told Rhea that she's in the Queen of the Ring tournament, and now she's going to be back focused on taking her rightful place on trying to go back for titles. I don't know if Alexa Bliss is hurt or not. I didn't hear no news of it on it. It was kind of strange they didn't have her on the show this week. Um, and then right after that, you had Tiffany music hit. And Tiffany came out and said, hi Charlotte, hi Rhea. We know the history of it. Charlotte, I did like the story where Charlotte said, "Are you here to say sorry to me?" I did like that little nugget there. Um, but they actually teamed up together to take on Fatal and Trashing Final Balls. I mean,
Fatal influence.
not Fatal Influence, but they teamed up to take on Jade and Michin because Jade and Michin and BFAB did come out, made their presence known, and they came. The general manager of SmackDown came out and said, tonight there will be a match between Jade and Michin versus Tiffany and Charlotte, which I was very shocked about this match. But they did defeat it. Jade and Michin looked great in this match. Jade has been getting a lot of wins. She only took one loss so far since she lost the title, which is not bad. She's been winning more matches than losing, which I feel like they're kind of building her back up. So when she does get the title, she can look like a decent champion again. I think that's the initial direction for her. Um, I've been liking the group
Yeah,
lately.
that's what we had. We also had the promo from Rhea.
Yeah. I said Rhea.
Uh,
Yeah. I
yeah,
said
so
Rhea.
which I thought was, it was actually one of her better promos. It gave me that old school vibe. The way
Okay.
it flowed, it was very very old school. Because he was like, yeah, She thought she could beat me, and now I'm here and I'm on. It was that very old school, a lot of pauses for the crowd. It was that very old school, you know, feel to it, which was for real. It was actually, very good. I mean, I will give her that. It gave like when I heard it, it gave me Raw is more vibes like what I heard initially. Like if you didn't look at the TV, you just heard the sound of it. That's the vibe it gave me. So I actually came out the closet, looked real quick, did a little peep, and I was in there passing my order. I was like, okay, this is a very old school type of promo delivery. I thought it was actually pretty good. Um, a side note, I know I haven't said before, but one of the things that used to really kick me off was when they had Io Sky come out there and absolutely just ruin the one thing good for me and Rhea, and that was her damn entrance because you had Io Sky and just kind of do a little stomp on it, like no. But the reason why I say this is because you know Jay has a very unique and great entrance. Storm is coming, and I feel like the placement of B7 and Michin in that entrance is actually it doesn't undermine her entrance. It actually elevates her entrance because they squat down, standing up. It's actually a nice touch for her entrance. So I just kind of wanted to kind of put that out there. I know it's like a weird thing to hear, but if you look at it in more detail, yes, it actually is a very fitting entrance. So it doesn't undermine her entrance at all.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with you on that. Um, I you did say something about fatal influence. Because I was looking at today's topic. My bad,
Yeah,
guys.
damn, over
Because
there, there's over
they
there.
do.
Feeding down my
Yeah,
free
they
belly.
beat up. They beat up.
Hey,
Yeah, they beat up the girls. I mean, but I mean, the Paige and
break,
Brie Bella
break.
has been holding these titles. They've won most of their matches. I don't think they have took a loss yet.
And
They
they,
had
and they
defended.
should not. And they should.
Well, they did. Well, I kind of do like WWE giving them a little break for a while, because they was defending them every week. I was like, man, if they're gonna keep doing this every week, I was getting a little scared. But I do notice that they have kind of slowed down on the title defenses, which that's okay because they defend them quite a few times already. But I do like that Fatal Influence came backstage and beat them up and was holding the titles, and I was like, well, I wonder where could they do this match because I feel like, well, I was thinking, I don't know how initially are they going to do Night of Champions. I don't know if it's going to be champions versus champions or they're going to just do random matches. But I would like to see where they're going to do this match between these two teams. I wonder is they going to go ahead and just put the titles because we did hear a while back that TKO is very very high on Fatal Influence because of the crowd and stuff like that. Um, Man, I miss Nikki Bella. I really hope that they can do a match and Nikki just pops back up and get that
I
amazing.
think she's probably out until around SummerSlam
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. I think so too. But I wish. I mean, man. I mean, maybe they can hold off for a while
I
because
mean, but in a way, it was actually fitting because hey, if Nikki Bella was not injured, where do you think they would have put Paige at, man? Like with man, because
I don't
I
know.
feel like
Now that
man,
AJ
I
got
feel like
injured,
I feel like they would have put Paige more so with the solid bliss stuff. I feel like they probably put Paige in there.
maybe I could probably see them doing that. If AJ Lee wasn't like gone, I would have thought they was going to do something with her and AJ Lee because we know the history between those two. Um, but I don't know, Final Balls. That's a great question. I don't know what would have been the initial direction for Paige if Nikki never got injured. But now I do like the whole dynamic between her and Brie. It's been pretty cool, but I just man, I miss Nikki. Um, Maybe hopefully she can come back earlier. Like I said, we haven't really been hearing too much. Once they get quiet, want to kind of keep an eye on it. Even if they don't do a Night of Champions, I can see them doing maybe wait to the next PLE to try to probably hold it off and do that match between these Influence and Bree and Paige. But I mean, man, it has to be sooner than later. I know now they're trying to heat it back up. They've been teasing it for quite some time, so it seems like they'll be doing it pretty soon. Final boss. That's what I just think. I feel like maybe they would put the titles on them, but because I'm glad that the women's tag team titles are still in float and still important enough for people to still be acknowledging them and wanting to go for them. I think this gives Michin and BFAB a chance because they are a three-woman group too to want to go for those titles. That you can kind of have Fatal Influence and Jade group go back and forth and be rivaling them for each other for quite some time. I think that's the next move for them. Once they start that Charlotte and Rhea stuff up, I think that's how you get Jade kind of into a new feud with some more new people. Final boss. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's all recipe for me. I mean, it's no point me going into it. We do have a lot of women there, so thank God for that. I mean, the SmackDown women side is actually pretty full. But we're gonna continue to see the same thing. We're gonna see, them. You're gonna see Charlotte, but it's okay, and Rhea, kind of have if you're gonna have them kind of tangle up with Michin, BFAB, and Jay. You'll keep having that over and over again. You'll keep having the whole thing with Tiffany and Chelsea Green. The only new thing that we're going to get is, of course, James and Giulia. And then you have Fatal Influence just being in the back, just being menaces all the time. So, I mean, it's not enough for me to go ahead and say all on that topic. We haven't really developed anything more coming out of Italy. I would say, besides, of course, which is what was on Italy, but the only development we have gotten is, of course, the issue with James and Giulia. So, I mean, it's gonna be the same thing next week. So, let me know. We can reach out about 2 or 3 months from now, 6 weeks ago. But right now, it's kind of coasting right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they'll just start probably trying to get ready for Night of Champions because they're dealing with this King of the Ring tournament right now. It seems like that's what they're most focused on for right now, as we can see. Um, Last but not least, I was asking, do you think we seen yesterday Sammy did come out when Gunther and Cody had their segment. Um, do you think they're going to add Sammy to this to that one of their matches? I think to the match because Sammy did
Well,
come out.
no, because Nick Allen, don't Nick Allen said stay away from it. You see, he said stay away from it. Mind your business. Don't be quiet and don't say nothing.
Well,
What you said.
well,
So
you know good and well Sammy gonna get back involved. That's just
I
saying
know,
that.
I know. You gonna stick his nose into it. But I think the whole thing would be eventually you'll have Cody get tired of it, and then Cody is not another match with him. He's gonna beat the shit out of him.
Well,
So I mean, I know.
I did like when Sammy said, "Hey." He did tell Gunther, "Hey, I already beat you for a title, so mind you, bitch." He did tell Cody, "Hey, you said you want to show me a lesson. Why you don't show me?" I did like that little part, that little nugget there. Um, I think Sammy's still going to get involved because, like I said, I don't see him on the thing being replaced. So I don't think they replaced him. I guess that was a false thing because I would have been like, well, hey, if it was Sammy, Sammy would have been like, well, hey, don't worry about it. I'll win King of the Ring and face you that way. But I don't think they replaced anyone. It's very weird because the statement came out, but now all of a sudden that reply doesn't say that. So who knows? Maybe somebody's going to get fired for that. But maybe someone made a mistake, and this is how they add Sammy on down the line. Um, it's very interesting they're putting Sammy in this position because I would think that they will wait to Rumble and let Sammy win and maybe let him go into Mania to face the champion because we do know that next year will be in Saudi. That's what I would think. But maybe they're going to make Sammy go in as champion. Who knows? We do know plans do change because injuries or things like this is something, the crowd might feel like he's a little hotter than, he was, before Rumble. Um, like I say, we seen the Gunther and Cody. I wouldn't mind it. Like I say, you got to give Cody some new guys to face. I would like to see Cody and Chad. Now Chad is on Raw. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, that gives Chad Gable something to do. Like I say, Royce Keys is not just there yet. It's not many people that Cody can face on SmackDown, just like Roman. It's vice versa. So we got to give these guys someone new to give us like, oh man, what's going to happen? I could think off the top, Oba Femi, Trick Williams, and Breaker. Those are like the guys I can think about. They can go the direction they want to go. I did like the stare off between Breaker and Trick Williams, though. I did like that one. For me, I was like, oh man, I would love to see these two guys go at it. I know that I remember that match from down in NXT, but we haven't seen them go face to face yet on the main roster. And big as Trick Williams is, I think this could do both for both guys wonders. If he did Breaker and Trick, but Sammy, I feel like he can be added here down the line, especially with Nick Otis saying that he'll do something and then he'll get added. That's the whole WWE old booking
Yeah.
playbook. We both know that. But you got any thoughts about this whole Sammy thing? I know you had a big thing about him still talking to Johnny Gargano, but you got any
Yeah,
thoughts about
yeah, it's kind of weird with Sammy. Man, we went from him, kind of being this crazy guy, and I'm the last good guy left, and now he just kind of interfering and things to do with Cody and Gunther. I think Al is saying, keep your, keep it to your own. So I think the goal or one of the end of the year is going to be eventually a triple threat match. To be honest.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that's where we're going with it. He's gonna be, oh, you want to be the man so bad? Well, you're in, and that's how we get. We get some
yeah,
leeway.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's how they normally book it. Normally. Yeah, that's all the topics that I had. If you got some more stuff, we talked about LA Night, we talked about the Dominic Mysterio. Is there anything else we missed that you want to talk about here on DW Radio today?
I think the last thing I want to talk about is before is that we knew about the whole build up between Penta and Ray, but
Hmm.
apparently I think they're gonna do it this Monday.
Yeah, yeah, it was announced that they're going to do it this
So
Monday.
I'm like, oh, okay. So we going right into it. We're not gonna let it kind of simmer. Nope. We're just gonna have a match, and we'll see where the
well,
story goes. So I'm really interested in that.
Well, I think the whole thing here is I think they're just announcing it because they did say that it was going to be a match between him and Ray. Like I say, I haven't seen Javon. Last time we seen him, they kind of teased like he was on to go a little heel a little bit. Maybe we see Javon do something here, maybe turn. I don't know. Like I said, I'm very interested on seeing how they're going to go about this. I'm surprised they're doing this on a Raw. Will it be a great match if Javon doesn't go come out? Maybe so because Penta and Ray are very great luchadors. They're very respected in their craft. I think people know who Penta is. People know who Ray Mysterio is. So it could be a great match. I think these two guys wanted this match for quite some time. I think Penta idolizes Rey Mysterio. So could it be a great match? Yes, it could be a great match. But I just want to see what's the direction. Will they switch the title off of Penta and put it on Ray to maybe get to Dominic? I don't think so because right now Dominic has moved on to the next round, and it seems like they're more focused on the king and queen of the ring for dominant right now, unless when Dom lose, they do some kind of angle where it pushes them towards Ray on
Well,
Monday.
no,
So
the easy thing would be is you had Dominic with Call Ray. That's the only easy way.
yeah, but my thing is that is I would be wondering why, because it's like, okay, well, we know you hate your dad, but it's been a while since you brought that up. You said you was focused on
Well, remember, the person that used to hold that title was Dominic Mysterio.
yeah.
So
I
so we'll build that. So they'll build that whole thing around that about how you was never the greatest. Mysterio. I'm the best Mysterio of all time. It'll be around all that. I don't want to get super deep down because you got about 2 more minutes. So, but yeah, it'll be centered around that whole build.
I think so too. Like I say, we'll have to see. Here in time. Like I say, that's mostly the stuff that we talk about here on DW Radio. Like I say, episode 22. Guys, thank you guys for joining us. 207 people. Thank you guys for joining me and Final Balls, baby. If you do like to know where to catch us at, that's my on X. My name is Miami the Great 305. You can catch my co-host. That's Final Boss Baby CFO. That's two B's, one Y, CFO all together. Or you can catch us on DWE TV. That's on X. Or you can catch us on Twitch, DWE Radio, and our other page on Twitch is DWE TV on Twitch. Please go over there and give us a follow on Twitch. There's both of our Twitch pages. It's just like below. You can see if you're here on here on us live. Shouts out to everyone who's listening to us on Spotify. If you're listening to us on Spotify, that's how you can find us. Or you can find us on YouTube. On YouTube, that's Talk It Up Podcast on YouTube. Please go over there, subscribe, like, comment. Give us all the comments that you like. This episode will be on YouTube, so go catch us on YouTube over there too, guys. Subscribe to us on YouTube over there. Thank you guys for joining us. Final Boss is back, so I guess we got reconnecting. You got any last things, Final Boss, before we are out of here?
Radio. The radio's not on the radio. Radio.
I knew she
Radio.
gonna come back and say that. And always remember, there's
Radio.
only one
Radio.
DWE. There's only one
Radio.
DWE. There's only one
Radio.
DWE radio. There's only
Radio.
one DWE TV. Shouts out
Radio.
to the whole team. After Slam,
Radio.
EVP, Solo
Radio.
Podcast, Sports Chat as
Radio.
a whole, Sports Chat team as a
Radio.
whole,
Radio.
Session team. Shouts out to Cal. Shouts out to Greg.
Radio.
Shouts out to everyone on
Radio.
DWE. And always remember
Radio.
to love and peace and love.
Radio.
We are out. Put up your ones.
Radio.
Hey, stop acknowledging.
Radio.
Acknowledge the
Radio.